Hey guys, Jeppe here from Epic Armoury. I heard you bought yourself a new sword and a new shield and you're wondering how to maintain them and make them last through countless of battles. Here are a few tips on how to do exactly that. First and foremost, we at Epic Armoury and I myself recommend that you use Protective Gel or Silicone. We recommend in this case Protective Gel as it's usable for both latex and non-latex weapons. It's easier used with a cloth. You generally tend to waste less of it, and in case you are on a slippery ground outside, of course with the silicone, you're not making it more slippery with the gel. You might wonder, when should I do this? How do I do it? We'll try to go through that. My recommendations and the ones from our chief epic overlord 10 years ago is that you use the Protective Gel the first time before your first battle. Meaning when you get a new sword, like this beautiful Imperial sword, it has not been given any protective gel, and that's due to the packing and the storing, transportations. It's better when it's not stored in a box with plastic around it, you know, moist and all that. But before you use it the first time, and then every time you use it for battling. If you go to a LARP that is more about playing your character in a festive or tavern-like scene and it's more hanging in your scabbard as a piece of decor to your character or a part of your character if you're playing knight or so on, then you might not need it. But every time you've been out using it in actual battle, we recommend doing so. So now what we're gonna do is we are gonna show you how to apply the Protective Gel to your weapons or shields. We will guide you through the process. As you might have noticed, this fine sword here is rather new. It's not very used and it's not gonna show you very well why Protective Gel is gonna help you. So, you throw me the other sword. This one, on the other hand, it's very clear that it's been in use. The coating on the latex have started to blemish off a bit. There are spots here and there. Generally, we have not really been taking care of this sword as well as we could. I mean, it's not gonna damage the foam integrity or structure or anything. You can still use this sword in battle, and at LARPs, you're just not gonna have the prettiest sword out there. So, if you wanna keep the glance that you can still see somewhere on this sword, and very clearly on the Imperial, use the gel. Now, to doing it. Pretty simple. You take your Protective Gel, for example from Epic Armor. You take a cloth. You apply gel to cloth, and you slowly begin to wipe your sword. Some of you might actually begin to notice already the side up here that were very damaged in terms of the coating is getting a bit of shine back. It's starting to look more like a newer product. Of course, never gonna look new again. This is a few years old, but it definitely helps. And it is just like when you clean your house at home. Take the gel on the cloth and apply everywhere. And yes, it is gonna seem a bit moist afterwards, and that's okay. You just leave it on. Make sure you keep it in a room where the air can get out. Of course, you might wonder, Jeppe, you're holding a hybrid now. It has the latex blade and a nice PU handle. Is it the same for both? And yes, that's why we went over to the gel, because it is designed to work both for your latex weapons and your PU. So you do the same here. Of course, the damages and there will be a little less on the PU. It's a harder material. It's grained in a different way. And of course, for the shield, can you guess what we're gonna do? You guessed correctly. We're gonna take the gel, we're gonna apply it to our cloth, and then we're gonna start wiping our shield. Of course, this can be a little less easy to spot whether you've been everywhere. We have darker colors on the shield. Be more thorough than you see me being right now. Just take good care of it. It's your equipment. It's gonna last you long if you treat it right. Now, a little bit of an immersive tip. Because you might have seen in those Hollywood medieval films, they are sharpening their sword. You can do that with the Protective Gel. If you take this little bottle, put some leather wrapping around it to cover all the modern plastic of it. Instead of using this fancy as microfiber cloth, you take a random piece of linen or cotton and you use that instead. And suddenly you can do this in-game. It will look like you are sharpening your sword or simply taking care of it, removing rust, while actually taking care of your live action roleplay gear. So, some of you might be thinking out there if there are other things that we could do to take care of our gear and keep the longevity of it. And there is. First of all, when you store your gear, you should never leave your weapons and shields lying on each other or up against each other. It happens that they will start glued together. The latex might come coarse and kind of looks like it's falling off a bit, like if it was paper. This is what we in Denmark kindly refer to as latex pest. Most weapons that gets latex pest will end up needing their coating removed and reapplied. So when you store your weapons at home, make sure there's a little bit of space between them. Make sure there's air in the room. The same goes when you're leaving for a LARP. When you pack up the car or the van or the horse wagon, however you get to the LARP, don't put all of your swords like this in a pile. Make sure there's a little space. If that's not possible, we have learned a little trick from our climbing friends. Talcum powder. It makes sure they won't stick and the latex pest won't occur on the travels. So guys, remember, when you buy yourself a nice sword, for example from Epic Armoury, to also get yourself a protective gel. And if you have any other questions, inquiries, or wonderings about Epic Armoury products, how we do things, or just something you would like us to address, please write it in the comments and let us know. See you around, and adventure awaits.